And thank you very much to our Rogers TV reporter for submitting that on-location report. Ink Movement is a great youth-led organization that aims to promote literacy throughout Peel region. And once again, as you heard in that story, that organization is able to do so because of funds they receive from the United Way as a part of their Youth in Action grants. And next here on set, just moving the program along here, I have three individuals joining me who are here to talk about a great Canada-wide event that is going to be happening September 30th to October 2nd, and that is going to be Culture Days. So here on set, I have Aubrey, who is the Executive Director of Ontario Culture Days, JL, who is the founder and director of the Festival of Literacy Diversity, also known as FOLD, and she is going to be leading some events for Culture Days, 4 events to be exact, in Brampton. And Sarita is here with the Brampton Library, and she is also going to be organizing events as a part of Culture Days. Now, Aubrey, just to start off, before we get into these specific events that you two are going to be organizing, for our viewers who may not be aware, why don't you just give us a little bit of an overview of what Culture Days exactly aims to do throughout Canada?
Certainly. Culture Days aims to increase public participation and engagement and awareness of arts and culture all across the country. So it was founded in 2010, and since then, in those 7 years, over 10 million Canadians have come out to 40,000 free Culture Days activities on the Culture Days weekend each year. They're, as I said, free activities, but they are also specifically hands-on and participatory. So it gives the public a chance to actually experience arts and culture, not just passively observe it.
And all of the events are put on by, is it volunteers, volunteer organizations, volunteer individuals in different communities throughout the country?
Yeah, in a way you can think of them as volunteers. It's really the full spectrum of the arts and cultural sector, so it's everyone from major organizations participate, such as the Royal Conservatory of Music, the National Ballet of Canada, the Banff Centre in Alberta, to smaller and medium-sized arts and cultural organizations like libraries, museums, heritage centers, choirs, and various other kinds of cultural organizations, festivals. But then also individual artists will present activities. So it's really the full spectrum of cultural creators.
Now, in addition to Sarita and JL, because we're going to get to those two very soon, who are going to discuss what activities they have planned here in the GTA. Aubrey, so you're the Executive Director of Ontario Culture Days. What do you see? What's being planned so far for September 30th to October 2nd? Some events that maybe stand out to you?
Well, across Ontario, there's 2,000 activities.
Wow.
Planned, so there's a lot that stands out. There's some amazing things all across the province, and I encourage people to actually explore their own community, but also consider taking a day trip or a weekend getaway to check out a community that you may want to visit, and here's an opportunity to discover the arts and culture in those communities. There's all sorts of amazing things happening. There's behind-the-scenes tours of theaters with theater games and props and costume discovery things where you can try things on or see how the lighting and rigging works. There's music workshops that you can actually take part in, dance classes, all sorts of things. It's the sky's the limit.
And once again, these are all free hands-on activities that are going to be happening from September 30th to October 2nd. Now let's go over to you, JL. So as we mentioned earlier, you're one of the event organizers for Culture Days. What are some of the things that you, as a part of FOLD, are going to be hosting?
Yeah, the FOLD got involved. This is our 2nd year being involved in Culture Days, and we do it as a way to kick off our season and to sort of showcase all the things that go on year-round. It's a great way to introduce people to literature. The FOLD really celebrates diverse authors and stories, and so what we do for Culture Days is try and expose people to the kinds of things they'll find at the festival as well. So events, interactive workshops, and discussions around books. So we have a street poetry team that will be at the Farmers Market in Brampton, and they'll be doing interactive poetry and an interactive poetry showcase. We also have a writing workshop that we'll be doing at PAMA, where people will get to hear from a writer about how to work on their writing. They'll get an hour to actually spend time on their writing, and then they'll get to network about their writing. So that's called Right Now. And then we also have a book launch that we're doing where people will get to interact with the author, the illustrator, and the subject of the book. And it's family friendly, so you can bring kids and they can interact and do drawings while parents or adults talk to the authors and the illustrators, or young people who want to go into that can ask questions.
Now, for our viewers who may not be aware, why don't you just give us a brief summary of what Fold does year-round and what their goal is?
Yeah, so the Festival of Literary Diversity celebrates diverse authors and stories, and our main program is a 4-day festival in May. So from May 4th to the 7th, we put on workshops and sessions where you can talk with authors about their books. And it's for people who are like bibliophiles or like really committed readers, but it's also for people who've sort of maybe lost the love of reading, don't really know, haven't read a book that they really love in a while, because I find when you meet an author and when you talk to somebody about their book and about why they wrote it, it creates a new level of inspiration. And so young people and adults can find books that they didn't know about that they can read.
Fantastic. Now, Sarita, the Brampton Library is going to be organizing events as a part of Culture Days. What are some of the cultural activities that residents can come and experience there?
Well, we're going to have 3 days of celebration, if I may say so, for the Culture Days. So last year we had all our branches participating as host organization. This year we have diverted it a little bit and have scheduled it slightly differently. So Fridays we have devoted it just to schools. So neighborhood schools come to their local branch and then they show what they have learned at school, individually or as a group. And the best thing is at 10 o'clock on the Friday, which is the first day of Culture Days, when the library doors open, school children will be singing a song to welcome our library patrons. So that's a grand way of launching Culture Days at the libraries. And then Saturdays, we have joined along with the city and PAMA and made the library, the downtown hub, as the festivities for that day. So our Four Corners branch, which is located in downtown Brampton, is going to hold sessions all day from 10 to 5 o'clock. And Sundays, we have opened it up to all our branches, and we have many, many activities going on. Some of the ones that I can tell you. As you said, they're all going to be free and open to everyone. They are really family-centered, but some have, more interest towards the youth. Some have more, children-focused. But overall, everybody can come and learn and enjoy and participate in some activity or the other.
Fantastic. Sounds very, very exciting. Now, Aubrey, just back over to you. While I cover events for Rogers TV, I get to go out and see a lot of the cultural activities that go on throughout the community. I'd say a little bit more than the average person, because I have to go out and cover these events as a part of our broadcast. Now, I find that events like Culture Days that happen Canada-wide sometimes, or very often actually, make individuals recognize talents that they wouldn't otherwise notice in their local communities.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point, because we do actually say Culture Days is a great opportunity to discover the talent in your own backyard. It is a chance to discover the creator who lives down the street, the author that secretly working away on her novel, and there's also a lot of people who offer activities who wouldn't call themselves professional artists, but they are creators in one way or another. So we have a lot of things like...
And their work is still fantastic.
This work is fantastic, absolutely. We have a lot of craft guilds participate, so that spinning and weaving groups, quilting groups, yarn bombing is really big. There's a yarn bombing activity in like dozens of communities. So these are all people who are not professional artists. They don't spend 100% of their time on this, but they are actively creating and contributing to the cultural life of their communities, and they want to share that with other people and share the passion for that creativity with other people so that others can also discover how great it is to participate.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you very much, Aubrey, JL, and Sarita for joining me here on Talk Local. Once again, Ontario Culture Days is going to be happening, Culture Days is going to be happening Canada-wide, and you'll be able to experience events in Ontario from September 30th to October 2nd. And we'll be right back with more Talk Local here on Rogers TV right after this.
So we'd like to welcome you today to Visual Arts Mississauga at Riverwood. We're getting ready to celebrate 40 years of offering the community a vast array of art courses, workshops, events, all geared towards enriching the community through the joy of visual arts.
Oh, Visual Arts Mississauga has been around for many, many years, and we have member groups and we have courses for children and for adults, all at nighttime and daytime. So we've been really part of this community. Lots of people have been here for years coming to VAM for more courses, and we welcome everybody to come.
Today we're having our very first annual Quirky Closet sale, which 100% of the proceeds go towards our Children's Camp Fund, and we will be sending 10 deserving underprivileged children in the community to our summer camp this summer.
We're raising money for our kids' scholarship fund, and that's to bring 10 kids to summer camp this summer, and it's done through the principals of the schools. They figure out who's good to come, and so we needed to raise some money for that, and we figured, well, you know what, we've got an artistic bunch of members here, about 500 of them, and if they're cleaning up their closets this spring, maybe